Friesland, vast, healthy, rich land. Land where throughout the ages cattle breeding has been made into an art. Land also of unity, of cooperation. In these vast green pastures, this cooperation has developed into a set economic pattern, and ever since, this community of cattle breeders bears the characteristics of progress, of modern planning, of modern organization and management. Long ago, the Frisian farmers have realized that cooperation can lead to more and better dairy produce. Joining forces, they now form the all-important core of this great dairy region. Common sense led them to building cooperative dairy factories in which to produce their own dairy products. These factories form, as it were, a strong chain around the nucleus of farmers. The milk yield grew larger and larger, and therefore the combined dairy factories united into a new cooperative, which in fact embraces all those farmers in their factories. This top cooperative is the Cooperative Condensed Milk Factory Friesland, the CCF, at Leeuwarden, the Frisian capital. In this gigantic industry, enormous quantities of milk can be preserved. Soon, it became one of the world's largest dairy industries, for the simple reason that it is situated in a region whose population consists of more cows than men. The cattle farmer, realizing that his livelihood depends on the cow and its products, raises his animals with loving care. He breeds them into a noble race, worthy of being registered in the Frisian herd book. He is aware of his obligations towards the cow which guarantees his existence. Day and night, he is ready to come to its support. Is it wonder, here in Rembrandt's own country, that a farmer himself tries his hand at drawing a proper birth card? But the inspector of the Frisian herd book applies rigid measures when judging the obtained breeding result. In his care for the animal, the cattle breeder is assisted by a whole army of experts. The production of Bertha 23, of Aaltje 16, Johanna 11, or by whatever other name the ladies may be known, is accurately checked. Inspectors take regular milk samples of each individual cow. These samples are taken to the laboratories where they are subjected to a close examination. Technical and economic information keep the Frisian cattle breeder abreast of the newest methods and developments, and during the quieter winter period, he visits agrarian and cooperative courses which enable him to run his farm as efficiently as possible. Here, in the palatial surroundings of an old country seat and under the eyes of the 18th century nobility, he enriches his knowledge of the nobility among the cattle and of his organizations. A lot of knowledge, a lot of work, a lot of care lead to great results. Daily, 600,000 gallons of milk are rushed to the many dairy factories to be prepared for distribution and consumption or made into butter and cheese. And when the regional and even national demand for dairy products has been met, enormous quantities of milk remain available. That is, I don't suppose you're going to drink all that yourself, are you?
Ourselves, Ned.
No, I didn't think so. Of course not. For if all these dairy factories owned by the farmers put 1/3 of their milk production at the disposal of the Cooperative Condensed Milk Factory of Friesland, then this central organization will see to it that the milk, in some form or another, reaches a much wider market. People all over the world are in need of this invaluable, wholesome drink. And one of the world's largest suppliers of dairy products is the Cooperative Condensed Milk Factory Friesland. Here, streams of milk come together. The careful process of preserving the milk begins, the miracle of condensing. Needless to say, the Condensed Milk Factory Friesland is an up-to-date industry, a well-organized system of various production units. Innumerable tins, for instance, are manufactured in the factory itself. Necessarily, therefore, the ever-expanding industry is equipped with a great number of valuable machines and expensive installations. The farmer's diligence and care are worth to be perpetuated in the factory. Internationally, the demand for the wholesome Frisian milk is so large that without modern equipment, it just wouldn't be possible to meet that worldwide demand. And the price, which is gladly paid for this excellent natural food, makes it possible not only to make the industry pay, but also to allow the cattle breeder to take a substantial share in the profits. Via the dairy cooperatives, once a year, part of the proceeds flows back into the farmer's purse. And so the process is set into motion once again, from green pastures to gleaming factory installations, from farmer to factory worker, from milk to money, and so to more milk and more health. Many and varied people carry on the work which the farmer has started. The CCF embraces them all. Yes, him also, and take the results of their industry far beyond the frontiers, sends them to the people who are in need of them all over the world. Frisian milk is sent to countries where distances are considerable, or the climate hot and dry. To countries also with completely different eating and drinking habits. Very often, condensing alone is not enough. The composition of the milk has to be adapted to the wants of each individual country. In view of the completely different standard of living in some of these faraway lands, the people there don't consider milk as an ordinary popular food, but as something very special, baby food, or even a delicacy. But this sweet little girl hasn't the slightest idea that somewhere in the north of Holland, serious and learned gentlemen have enjoyed this delicacy with just as much pleasure. They are the professional connoisseurs who literally represent the world's palate. On their findings, the CCF Research Laboratory bases its new products. Special formulas for medical purposes, improved products and production methods are developed in this experimental plant. Here is a glance behind the scenes of the milk powder manufacture. Milk powder is ideal for export, and all you need is a little water to... Preserved and adapted, an important part of the Frisian milk yield finds its way to an ever-increasing international market. No matter whether Latin America, Africa, or the Far East are concerned, the CCF doesn't merely sell its products, but, remaining aware of its responsibilities, subjects them to continuous inspection. The quality may be well preserved, but also color and taste should in no way decline. Here, for instance, a batch of tins is being exchanged. The collected specimens will be sent back to Friesland, where the product will be examined as to its keeping qualities in the tropics during a sometimes long journey from the port far into the interior. And so the care of the Frisian cattle breeder is being continued by people out there who might be called his allies. This care is the basis of reliability, a guarantee for many mothers who may not even know where Friesland is, but who wouldn't hesitate to give this invaluable food to their children. There's a wide choice of Dutch dairy products. In Holland itself, unlimitedly available. The Dutch have learned to accept milk and all that can be made of it as a matter of course. Yes, Frisian milk is a source of life, springing from a vast, green, rich land. Milk and farmer, milk and industrial worker, milk and scientist. United in a cooperative condensed milk factory of Friesland, and through their combined care and skill, they have made Dutch milk to a world-famed product of a world-famed brand.